our guiding principle is how many places can we bring that access to, and where can we meet unmet needs? Where can we always be looking to raise the bar while also operating responsibly in what we do, which is a fundamental tenet of our two legacy organizations and of Viatris.
Hi everyone. Today we have with us Ms. Lara Ramsburg, who is the Head of Corporate Affairs for Viatris, with responsibility for protecting and advancing the company's reputation across stakeholder groups through strategic communications and outreach strategies aligned with the company's mission to empower people worldwide to live healthier at every stage of life. As an industry veteran, she has 30 years of experience helping organizations to fulfill their business objectives through purpose-driven messaging as well as internal and external stakeholder collaboration. Ms. Ramsburg is a member of Viatris' senior leadership team as her role oversees the company's global communications and corporate brand, government relations and policy, and corporate social responsibility functions both globally and within every region. She also chairs the company's cross-functional corporate affairs council and is also a recipient of the distinguished West Virginian Award. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us, Ms. Ramsburg, and I really look forward to our conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So to start with, I would like to ask that what was the idea and inspiration behind the establishment of Viatris?
So Viatris was established really with a perspective of trying to create a new kind of healthcare company. So one that, as you mentioned, our mission is to empower people worldwide to live healthier at every stage of life. And we feel like we're uniquely positioned to do that because of the scope and the scale that was created when Viatris was created. So, for example, we're in over 165 countries and territories. We sold over 80 billion doses of medicine last year. We're in approximately 90% of low and middle income countries. We have products across 1,400 molecules, multiple therapeutic areas, brands, generics, complex medicines. So really run the spectrum of what we can bring and where we can bring it. And I think that's really, our guiding principle is how many places can we bring that access to, and where can we meet unmet needs? Where can we always be looking to raise the bar while also operating responsibly in what we do, which is a fundamental tenet of our two legacy organizations and of Viatris. And so that's where I think really brings it all together in terms of what we do every day across the globe.
All right, thank you. And I think it's really incredible hearing you sharing the entire journey of the organization with us. And moving further, now I would like to ask that how are you empowering the people worldwide to live a healthier life at all stages?
So I think drawing back to our mission, we also have three pillars that are important to us. So we talk about access, we talk about leadership, we talk about partnership. I think from an access perspective, again, as I mentioned, our fundamental guiding principle is to provide access to high quality medicine around the globe. And so how can we continue to find new and better ways to do that? How can we make sure that we're doing that sustainably and consistently, and finding where we can bring something potentially unique to the table in terms of some of the firsts that we've been able to accomplish, whether it's first products to market or fighting for certain policies to expand access. I think from a leadership perspective, again, I talked about sustainable operations. We want to make sure that we're operating sustainably, that we're being good corporate citizens, that we're committed to that and ingrained in that in everything that we do, that we're also leading from a perspective of, again, where are those barriers to access? Where are those barriers to treatment? And how can we do our part to be part of the global conversation to decrease those barriers and to overcome those barriers? And so we spend a lot of time leading the way or trying to lead the way when it comes to policy discussions and with government leaders and with non-government organizations and people that have similar interests to what we're trying to bring. And then from a partnership perspective, we want to be a partner of choice. We believe we are a partner of choice because of what we bring. But really, we also can accomplish so much more working together with others. So whether it's through our Global Healthcare Gateway, which is really how we think about partnering with other companies to bring products and services that maybe they can't have the scale and the reach on their own to do, but they can partner with us and we can help bring that through our network. But also partnering with, again, whether it's government leaders, whether it's patient advocacy groups, whether it's corporate social responsibility partners in terms of how we're affecting our communities. So all these ways in which we can try to achieve our mission while also helping to achieve the goals of others as well. All those things kind of together create what is Viatris and what it is that we try to do across the spectrum. Again, empowering people worldwide truly means everyone, and across every spectrum of life means whatever age group you may be in. So whether you're a child, whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, whether you're wherever you are in your stage of life and whatever your need is, we want to try to be a part of helping find solutions and improving healthcare overall for all of us.
Right. And I agree. I think partnership plays a very crucial role in leveraging each other's expertise and to reach till the last mile of the society and also to scale the social impact. Partnership is that tool that enables all of us to come together and do that. So thank you for sharing that with us. And now, since we are talking about healthcare initiatives and the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on, I would like to ask the next question around that. The global COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the lives and livelihoods of a lot of people, and it has given rise to more mental health issues and disorders. So, how are you using visual storytelling along with other methods to mitigate the mental health challenges per se?
So, I think the best example of that right now is our partnership with Sesame Workshop, which I know many are familiar with. Sesame Workshop has an amazing reputation around the globe. We really started talking to them in 2020 at the height of the pandemic. And we were looking for ways to help beyond just the medicine that we provide every day. And as we started to talk to Sesame, we realized that first our missions were very similar. I've talked about ours, and theirs is to grow stronger, smarter, kinder children around the globe. And we realized the global scale that they had, which while I was familiar with Sesame and Sesame Workshop, I wasn't as familiar with just that, their global scale and how connected they were around the world. And so we started talking about how could we partner to provide resources to help then augment some of the expertise that they had. And what we did was create bundles of materials for children and their families and their caregivers around the situations that they were dealing with COVID, to try to help them deal with the social, the emotional impacts of COVID, in particular from a mental health perspective. And so these resources were created, videos and other materials to help facilitate conversations between these families and with these children to help articulate how they were feeling and how to overcome some of those feelings of anxiety and fear and stress. And so we found that was met with a lot of success in 2020 and 2021 in terms of people gravitating towards those materials. And then now in 2022, we're still dealing with COVID, as you said. That hasn't gone away. We're just in a different stage, and it's a different set of conversations. And so in this phase 2 that we're in now, we have a new set of resources dealing with the dynamics that we're in today to try to continue to help facilitate those conversations and help, again, families, children, caregivers really process and articulate and address some of what they're feeling and kind of what those big feelings are that Sesame talks about.
Yeah. And I think it's really good to hear that now people are putting more focus on mental health. Otherwise, earlier, it's more about the physical health and well-being. The more focus needs to be given at mental health. And now many organizations such as yours are coming forward and doing that bit. So it's really important that we take that element in our mind while designing any program for the communities. And on the similar note, since we have talked about social and emotional needs and well-being, I would like to ask the next question. That how are you supporting the social and emotional needs of families across generations as they collectively continue to adapt to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, so, well, as you said, I think mental health, we have a lot of awareness around mental health right now. It was certainly a critical topic before the pandemic and rightfully so, but now during and as we've moved through the pandemic, I think it's something that's really touched everybody. And I think we're all we're all challenged by the struggles, the mental health struggles associated with the pandemic. And I don't think anybody's immune to that. And I think children certainly are affected just as much as adults are. And I think as much as we've put these resources together with Sesame Workshop to address children in large part, it's also helping to address their parents and their caregivers. Because I think what I've seen, one, there are resources. So whether it's the live action videos that we're now able to do with the Muppets in phase 2, or the way they're interacting with actual real world clinical psychologists and healthcare professionals that are able to give real world feedback to parents and caregivers and adults on how to have these conversations with their children. I think that the issues are not specific to children, and parents may be feeling that same way. So what I've seen is that it gives them a sense of, I'm not alone, that this isn't a conversation that's only happening in my family. This isn't a struggle that only my family or my children are going through. There's nothing wrong with me because I'm having these feelings and needing to have these conversations. It's happening other places, and seeing Sesame and the Muppets talk about it validates that, and also gives important tools on how to have these conversations. So to really give examples of how to say, for example, how to tackle goodbyes now that families and children are actually having to go back to school and go back to work, and that's a different set of anxiety than it was when we were all, not going anywhere. How do you have resources, for example, coloring sheets that help children express anger and frustration, and how do they get that out in some way that then you can have these conversations? So I really think, while we talk a lot about the focus on children, the resources apply no matter what age you are. I mean, I can appreciate the messages regardless of whether I'm trying to have a conversation with a child or not. And I think it's just having that conversation and trying to bring exposure to it in ways that allow people to then express and feel like they can be part of the conversation and not feel alone. Because the worst thing we can do is to not talk about it. And I think the statistics around the world bear out that this just isn't something that we're feeling. It's something that we're seeing in emergency departments and in medical centers around the world, in terms of just the depth of mental health struggles that people are having today.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think you have taken a right step in the right direction, and you are creating a wonderful, robust ecosystem so that people can come together, they can express, share their feelings, what their thoughts are, so that they feel that, as you have mentioned, that they're not alone in this entire thing. People are there with you. You can support them. And so this entire ecosystem that has been created is really a phenomenal step taken by the organization. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And moving forward now, I would like to ask the last question. That since we have already discussed about partnership before, but I would still like to know a little bit more about it. So what are your views on partnership, and how the private sector specifically can come forward to collaborate with nonprofits to reach those who need adequate care and support?
I think partnerships are critical to on a number of things, and I think you can find real collective synergies and value for each part of the partnership if you come with the same intent and trying to get to the same place with the same principles and objectives. And I think that's why, we talk a lot about being a partner of choice, as I mentioned, from a commercial aspect, and how we can help get products to people that need them, connect people to products and services. And that's critical. But I really also think there's so many other partnerships that we're also involved in every day that have a real benefit to our organization, the organizations we partner with, and then the communities that we serve. So again, whether it's partnerships from a policy standpoint of how we're trying to, open up avenues to access to medicine or access to service, or if it's partnerships, not all commercial partnerships are also just that, commercial. We have partnerships, for example, with the TB Alliance, where, again, they're coming from a place of just trying to get the right products in the hands of people who need them. They're developing things, and then they need a commercial partner to come in and be a part of that last mile of getting it to the patient. That's a great public-private partnership in some ways that you don't necessarily think about. Then we have partnerships like Sesame Workshop, but also like Direct Relief, for example, where we partner to get medicine to people in need, whether that was during COVID, whether that's during the humanitarian crises that we're seeing today. And that's a way to kind of take our resources, their resources, marry them up together and do more together than we can by ourselves. And that's where you really get the value of these partnerships. Is it can't, for us, it's not just saying, hey, we need to show that we have partnerships, or we need to, people want to see that you're partnering with your communities. This is about really taking the time to understand what organizations do you have real connection with, and a similar mission and a similar guidepost, and can you do more together? And I think while we have numerous examples, and we just launched our sustainability report as Viatris, our second sustainability report earlier this week, that really lays out a lot of the work that we do and a lot of the partnerships and a lot of the impact that we're able to make across the spectrum. But I think where you see our most successful are things like a Direct Relief, things like a Sesame Workshop, where you're able to have those meaningful conversations at the beginning about what you're trying to accomplish. And then once you can see you can make a real impact, then that just magnifies and you want to do more and more and more. And I think that's where then it's more than just giving. It's not just about giving dollars and saying, here, I made a contribution. It's about being a part of the conversation, a part of the discussion, a part of the impact. And I think companies are uniquely positioned to be able to do that across a wide spectrum, not just in one avenue or another. And I think that's why partnership is such an important pillar for us, because it's ingrained in everything we do, and not just something off to the side that we do, and from a CSR perspective. It's across all pieces of how we operate and of our mission.
Right. And I think, as you have mentioned, partnership is nowadays, it's more about value proposition rather than just donating or coming together. It's important that we think about what we are doing, for what purpose we are doing, and what kind of change we envisage to bring in the society, rather than just coming together, doing something or donating money, etc. So that is right. And I also have to say that COVID-19 has highlighted some sort of fault lines that was there in the healthcare infrastructure, and now it's of utmost importance that we do everybody come together, and collectively we try to make a ecosystem that everybody, as your mission also says, that delivering healthcare and ensuring good quality healthcare at all stages. So the importance has been realized by the pandemic. That's the only good thing that has happened. So I would like to bring this interview to a close, and thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your thoughts, your valuable insights and experiences with us. It was lovely interacting with you, and I wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I wish the same to you. Thank you.